That was awesome. The only reason I wear the hockey jerseys, though, and you shouldn't because you're in shape. I wear them because I'm fat. The hockey jersey, like, is functional, you know, as a piece of athletic wear. But for those of us who are not athletic, it's also kind of slimming. It gives you a body shape definition. So we call it the fat guy's moo-moo. That's what I wear. All right, man. Before we get going, just a real quick kind of share to kind of that'll clear the room out. I was just in downtown, like not an hour ago, an hour and change, and I fly a bunch of places now. They let me fly again. And when I was driving the bus around, and we still have the bus and we use it for tours and stuff, but when I was just traveling on the bus after the Southwest thing, it was life's kind of easy on the bus because no matter where you are, that's where, you know, where your smoke is. And so I could go around the country, it didn't matter. Now it's different. When I fly, the first thing we do when we land is like, you got weed, you know. 3 hours. So I was in Chicago, and at our hotel, we're like on the 21st floor, something like that, a nice little balcony. And I'm out there getting centered and looking at the city and whatnot. And Megan, who runs my whole life, Megan goes, "Oh, what a terrible job." And I thought she meant my job. I was like, "Yeah, you're fucking mine." This is what I do for a living now. And she was like, "No, that guy." We looked across the street. And there was a dude, like, hanging on a rope from the top of an apartment building, window washing. But it wasn't like, you know, the plank and fucking steps and bars. It was literally just a dude who was Tom Cruising it down the side and washing windows. And I've never had this happen to me in my life, but it completely harshed my buzz, where I got so terrified. Suddenly I was in that dude's head, and I was like, "We're gonna die." How much does he get paid? He started bugging me. I was just gonna yell at him, "There's a better way!" Oh my God, it was frightening. In any event, I guess my point of that is we all got better jobs than that fucking dude. That dude slides down, and like he's literally, he's got like maybe a little board under his ass or something like that. That's it on this rope, and he's just dangling what looked like, I guess if I was on the 21st floor, same thing, about 25 stories up. Oh boy, that unnerved me. Anyway, sorry. Back with you guys. I'm here to talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. You guys get your own little mini Q&A today. You know, is there something? Are you joining me? Well, like Silent Bob and Silent Bob. Dang you whatsoever.
I'm honored. So basically figured that try and have a little fun. Because there's actually a show in Chicago, I don't know if you've ever heard or seen it, it's called Too Much Light Makes the Baby Go Blind. And basically they do, kid you not, 60 plays in 30 minutes.
Holy shit.
It's 30 plays in 60 minutes.
It's 30 plays in 60 minutes.
Oh, well, that's it, yes.
You're supposed to be my guide, man. You're up here feeding me all wrong information.
That's right. But, so we figured we'd try and do maybe about 20 questions in 40 minutes.
Okay.
So, we'll give it a shot.
Good luck.
I don't know, we'll try. So.
For those unfamiliar with me and what I do beyond the film things, and there are a lot of people I'm sure are like, "What movies do you make?" Aside from the movies, I do this thing where God, this won't go down at all. It's like my old lady. I like to stand up and do that. I answer questions. I'll start with answering questions after like the screenings of the flicks we did, and I liked it so much more than making the flicks. I eventually stopped making movies, just started standing there. Who wants to ask me about movies? So I'm used to like kind of doing Q&A. So the irony though is, however, one of the last like Q&A specials I did, one person asked me a question, and we went 2 hours on one question. What was the question?
About Bruce Willis.
It was. But to be honest with you, I was so prepared for that whole evening. It didn't matter what they asked. I had in my head mapped out, like there was 10 stories from that year that I really wanted to tell. So I just knew that I wanted to do them. And I've done Q&A so many times and shit. Every once in a while you gotta fucking make it different for yourself. Otherwise you get bored, get stagnant. It's gonna play like that. So I said, just this year, man, let me see if I can do it. It's my 40th birthday too. I was like, let me see if I could do it off one question, do my entire fucking show off one question. And you know, it was sold as a Q&A and shit. The first guy stands up and he asks a very simple question. What was it like to work with Bruce Willis? And I was like, oh shit, sit down. And it was the perfect intro. stuff. So I was able to kind of do every story I wanted to do off the one question. You could tell about halfway through, people started getting a little restless, like, is he ever going to move on? Like, and the one dude who was at the microphone was standing there the whole time. He's just like, but you can see he's getting weak in the knees because he was standing there for like 2 hours. And I keep like storming around the stage. I'm moving around so I don't get weak kneed. But he's standing one place. At one point he sits down. I was like, get up, bitch. And you have to stand. So in any event, we won't do that. I won't fucking do one question. We'll try to do, what is it, 40 and 20? 20 and
20 and 40.
Beautiful.
We'll figure we'll try.
Okay.
So because we got questions from pre-prepared, from online.
Okay, all over the joint.
I do the Twitter thing. So.
Right, yeah, you're a social media guy.
Oh, yeah. What they pay me. So. All right. Anyway, so the first question is, so is it true? Are you actually retired from filmmaking?
I'm not retired yet, but I'm going to retire. I got one more movie to make, and that right now it's Hit Somebody. It's this hockey movie that I've been working on for the last few years. And once that's done, then I'm going to stop. Yeah, I mean, people keep going, you reach, Aaron, what are you going to do? And I'm not like leaving. I'll be in your face even more now that there's not movies to fucking waste my time. So I've been doing podcasting for a long time, now about 5 years, and that's turned into a bunch of other things. There's a show we do on AMC called Comic Book Man. That came from our podcast network. We just did this other show we launched on Hulu called Spoilers 2 weeks ago, and that's kind of based on 2 podcasts we do. So all these podcasts that we've been doing for years are now turning into TV shows. I keep telling the kids, like back in the day, I was like, just pick up a camera and make fucking movies, because look what fucking could happen. It happened to me, and I'm an idiot. And it's true, I really felt that way, but now it's even easier, man. Like back then, when you were telling kids that in 1994, they're like, all right, where do I get money to rent a camera? Where do I get a Steam Deck to edit the film and all that shit? Now it's been democratized. You can shoot a movie and cut a movie and upload it on your fucking iPhone. So you don't need all that technology. But even more so than that, because the technology is so democratized, it just means that a lot of cats are doing it. So it's much tougher to break in. I tell people now, I'm like, grab your fucking laptop, because everyone's got one. Everyone has a fucking computer. Jack a microphone in it and just start talking to your friends, because those podcasts just lead to broadcasts, man. If you're interesting enough, if your friends are interesting enough, thank God I know interesting people and shit. I sit next to Jason Mewes, I just turn on mic, I'm like, go. You know? And then I just have to be like, ladies and gentlemen, Jason Mewes. So that's what I've been doing for the last few years, and it's turned into the shows that we've started doing. And I don't know, it's a weird circuitous route. Circuitous, yeah. Yeah, that's right. Circuitous? Yeah. I thought I was missing a syllable, something like that. It's a weird circuitous route to go back to kind of doing visual entertainment, which I want to get away from. Like, I got a fucking body for radio, so I don't really want to be in front of the camera and shit like that. So it was nice doing the podcast because it's just you on a microphone and stuff. You can do whatever you want, man. When you're doing podcasts, ain't nobody sitting there going like, oh, the budget for that is too high, or is it going to appeal to all these people? Like, you can just do whatever you want, man. Everyone is a brilliant little content generator because everybody has a fucking back pocket story that they fucking take to a party. Even if you're like the milquetoast quiet person that doesn't like to get engaged and shit, we're all prepared for the moment that the fucking spotlight falls on us if it has to, and we're like, shit, and we pull out that amazing one back pocket story, like where my friend had sex with a dog once, you know, like, what? And suddenly you own the room for that period of time. And my feeling is everybody has that one story that probably got more and stuff, so no matter who you sit down and talk to, they're really interesting. Like, I've been talking to cool people, you know, who do cool things for a living, and I sat down and talked to my fucking mother, man. I got like 2 genius podcasts on. My mother, granted, I had to feed her weed cake to get there, but once she was on board, it was no surprise. And I put it on Front Street. I was like, you got some Pineapple Express, some Yay Red Velvet, and she was like, Pineapple Express. So I sat down with her, recorded a wonderful podcast about her youth and shit and growing up. All that, it's crazy. Everybody around you has great material to fucking share, and very seldom does anybody stick a microphone in their face and go like, hey, what do you think? I think that's what we want to do. It's all about, in the arts particularly, it's all about communication. That's what you want to do. You essentially want to throw your message out there into the void, see if anybody fucking responds so you don't feel as alone. At least that's why I did it as a fat kid. Some people do it for pussy, some people do it for coke and money. I just did it because I was like, all right, do I have any friends out there? And then I found a bunch, so it was kind of good.
You talk about that. Can you talk about what you're doing right now with Spoilers on Hulu? It sounds like the same thing.
It is. It's kind of like, that came from 2 different podcasts. One was called Sminterview and one was called Smooviola. One was just me sitting down and interviewing people that I found interesting. And the other one was me watching a movie with a bunch of people and then kind of doing Q&A with cast members in the movie afterwards. So Hulu had got in touch with us and said, hey, we're going into original programming. Do you want to have any ideas? And I was like, yeah, I got this one idea about motherfuckers that work in a convenience store. And she's like, that's your only fucking idea. Isn't it? I was like, yeah, pretty much. But boy, it's fucking taking me far. So she goes, do you have anything else? I said, you know what nobody's doing right now? I said, it would be fun. It'd be like a show about movies, but she's like, movie review show? I said, not that. That's what's not fun. Anybody can do a movie review show. I said, like, the formula has been laid down through time immemorial right in that city I just drove out of by Siskel and Ebert. Fat man, skinny man, sit around and do this or this, talk about movies. And so every movie review show since then has been a kind of variation of that form and stuff. So they've all kind of gone away for the moment. Like, there's no movie show out there or anything like that. I said, wow, there should be one of those. I said, but it'd be fun if it was like, not like, you know, one guy, one person, one guy, one girl pontificating, thumbing it, starring it, or anything like that. I said, instead of a fat guy and a skinny guy, let's do a fat guy and 40 other people. So basically, I take 40 people out to the movies, we watch a movie together, then we go back to our studio, and we just sit around bullshitting about it and talking about it. And it's shocking. It works. I can't believe how fucking well it works. Like, because you're just interested to see what real people have to say. You know, I always see some jackass sitting up there going, I thought this. And I'm not even talking about movie critics, I'm just talking about even people like me. I always see the same fucking people over and over again. Like, whenever I go pick up fucking milk or something like that, it's the same 5 people on Us Weekly and fucking People and shit. So I think the appeal of this, at least to me, is like when you watch it, you're like, oh shit, these are all real people and shit. And I'm probably dressed worse than all of them. So it's been a really kind of cool experimental show that grew into something that like we enjoy doing. It came out of the podcast. And it's still kind of related to movies. So I can like retire from directing, which I don't want to do anymore. I don't want to direct movies for the theaters. The kind of movies that I love to do, they don't warrant going into a theater anymore. Like back in the day when I came of age, or when my career kind of started moving, it was during the mid-90s when independent film was like, every studio wanted an independent house. They wanted to do what Miramax had done. They wanted to do art house films and stuff. So every studio, Warner Brothers, Paramount, Universal, everybody had their own art house division. It all started with Disney buying Miramax. So because in that era, independent film was kind of all hot to trot, and people were like, wow, this is the future, you can win awards doing this shit. Hey, the Cinderella story of it all is amazing. You had all these stories about like Robert Rodriguez paid $7,000 to make, you know, El Mariachi. I fucking made Clerks in the same store I worked. All these like stories.
You maxed out your credit card.
Maxed out the credit cards. All like they suddenly had the backstories were probably even more interesting than the movies themselves. And I came of age in that era, but that era is long gone. Like I think the bellwether or the final death knell really was the year that There Will Be Blood and what was the other one? No Country for Old Men won at the Oscars. It was a strong year for independent film, and that was Paramount had both of those. I think it was Paramount Vantage had both of those movies. And they shared them with Miramax as well. But both of those studios were just like, we can't make money off this. Like both of these movies lost money and shit. And so that was it. Suddenly all the studios started moving away. You know, Universal still has Focus, but they started moving away from what they call specialty film. Like, perfect example is that Disney drops Miramax after 10, 15 years and instead buys Marvel. That's the future, is fucking big, bombastic, is the Avengers. It's a smart investment. So the period where I kind of came in vogue is now gone. You know, Krypton has exploded. I have no planet to go back to. So I have to figure out how to work here amongst you people on Earth. So I have to figure out what to do for a living now that, like, I can't make those kinds of movies, you know, and to me, it's just coming at the right time. I've been doing it for almost 20 years now, and you do anything for 20 years. If you have the luxury of being able to be like, I'm going to put this down and try something else, fucking take it. I don't care who you are.